You created that script in order to scheme Microsoft in order to fucking
Stay
get
scheming.
those points and get those fucking CDs, the Windows CDs.
Yo,
I'll
how
never
about
forget
that?
that
That shit
story,
was
son.
hilarious. All right,
Son,
let's
that's
end on
one of
that
my
story.
favorite. That's one of my favorite stories, bro. Please, Sandy, please tell
So I
it.
could hardly pick up a computer these days, but back in like college when I was like still scheming heavy like that, you'd be on like black hat script websites and shit. If you've never done any like computer science class or computer programming or whatever, that doesn't mean much to you. But basically, I found a script that automated into like Microsoft's premier search engine at the time. This is when like Bing just came out. So they had like word association games to like get you to use Bing. Like, oh, you'll play like this crossword puzzle and like use the search engine. And the idea is that you use it a lot and you get points and you can get like a reward mailed to you. When dickheads like me get a script to automate that kind of shit, I got like 8 copies of Windows Vista delivered to my crib. And I just took them to Best Buy, like, my grandma thought we had a bunch of computers, so she bought too many of them. And the person's like, well, all we can do is give you store credit. And I'm like, well, fuck, I'll take your store credit, goddammit. And bought a cell phone, dumbass video games, pissed my shorty off. It was a good ass time.
Don't get coronavirus in your heart.
Which do we?
It's the base.
LOSO__G.
DK, the engineer.
I'm Sandy, grappler, working. Hi,
Yeah,
you
what's
for
up,
coming on,
Sandy?
man.
out here. It's my Monday off. What's good with y'all? Y'all worked earlier? I did not.
Yeah, man, busy. I've been working mostly remote, but I go to the office every now and again. I might do some work after this, but yeah, man, no complaints. It's just I'm pretty used to being domesticated due to COVID, so I've already adjusted.
I've been working remote for like a few years now, so this is like business as usual. I don't teach anymore. I don't remember last time we chilled, but I don't teach anymore. Now I do tech work,
I
programming,
saw
dev work,
you
data stuff.
last time, I think, at
Randomly ran into you in Astoria.
in Astoria, and before that, Donut Plant. And you were like, I work for a startup in tech now. It's lit.
Damn,
But that
it's
was
been
in
a while though, son.
20
It's
years.
crazy
Damn, that was
thinking
back in the
about
'80s.
my man. I've known Sandy since the sixth, man. That's crazy. I never would have thought some random ass person from the fucking sixth grade I'd fucking be linking up in college again and fucking bugging out, son. Yeah, that was a fun ass year, man. The year that we was just chilling, like hardcore, like that, year and a half, whatever it was.
We were living like on opposite ends of the block, so it was a real bug out. Kind of not safe.
Yeah, man.
Not
Nah,
safe.
but it was cool. But I saw you've been going on in the on that fighting shit, that grappling, the wrestling. I see you've been going hard now. Like now you training people.
I mean, mostly, not mostly, but a lot in part to Edwin. We were like dicking around in Pennsylvania, and I picked up classes, and Edwin goes, "Oh, you think you know about that shit?" And puts me into like some pajamas he had from back in the day, and here we are.
Yeah, Sandy, I'm excited to have you on. So tell us your background. What do people need to know about Sandy?
Y'all should know that I'm from Uptown, college boy.
Holla.
Holla. Jose and I met there. We would take the like van ride down to Stuyvesant to help get us into specialized high schools, and we did
Okay.
that. And then went to college and linked up again. Had the fortunate pleasure of meeting Edwin, and I dropped out of college, but about that time I started grappling. I was heavy into the UFC game on PS3, and the grappler was lit. So I started fucking with that more and more, and moved back into the city. And you do something a couple times a week, every week for a couple years, and then you become a black belt, just like anything else in life. So now I get to teach a little bit. It's a good supplement to my income. Definitely helps like flexibility with scheduling and whatnot. And I actually teach not too far from Bushwick, where y'all stay out there. So shit works out.
Wait, so
Yeah,
what's
man.
your
So-
speciality?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's a philosophy, system, idea, lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. It's a lot.
So explain it from your point of view, because we've had martial artists on before. We had my boy Hector, who has done everything from Kyokushin to Jiu-Jitsu to he's an MMA fighter now. We've had another MMA Gabby. We've had my coach Sambo Steve on. So, like, what is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from your point of view, or how would you explain it to a layman?
I would explain it as a problem-solving system. Someone asked me like what the biggest takeaway was from like working from white belt to black belt, and I thought the biggest takeaway was I now know how to learn things a little better. Like I said, I dropped out of college, sitting down for a couple hours, and then reviewing notes and homework is not really my steez. But then putting my body to work and like doing the same thing a couple times to repetition to really like hone in on skills, how to move myself, how to move around, things like that really gave me the idea of like how to apply that to other things in my life. So I picked up bartending to like supplement the habit, and now I'm nasty at bartending too. So I think I can like plug and play, like I have to know X and I'm gonna figure out like Y and Z that the top 20% do and pose as Optimus Prime with as quickly as I can, you know?
Word. I mean, what particularly drew you to jiu-jitsu in particular?
You didn't start off with jiu-jitsu, right? I think you were striking. You were doing more striking,
Yeah,
right?
man, like
I remember
Jose
that. You know what I
and I-
remember, son? You were telling me, son, that you went on an interview and you were at the interview like this. Just going like this. You remember that?
Yeah,
shit?
that happened. Yeah. That's what happens when you get a CTE. You shouldn't be like practicing fighting martial arts in public like that. Jose's back. Cool.
Oh, yeah. There's like a delay. It's all good.
I'm still here. I can hear everybody. I can still hear
Okay.
everybody.
So Sandy, like, what drew you to jiu-jitsu in particular, and like you told us your big takeaway, but like what took you in, and what keeps you there?
It's really simple, but it's really hard. It's like the most fun video game you've ever played. Like the most fun video game you've ever played like ends where the code ends, but there's always someone new doing jiu-jitsu or someone that's been doing jiu-jitsu that you haven't trained with yet. And that eternal abyss is crazy to me. I could like do like the same shit I've been doing for like 6 or 8 years, and it's funny on like new people, but you like put me on someone else who also has been training 6 to 8 years. We're at a stalemate trying to figure each other out. I really think like what sets it apart is how intimate jiu-jitsu can be. It's like the striking arts, more about like, I don't know, different kind of community in my opinion. And I just didn't like getting hit in the head.
So what is unique about, because here's my like interpretation, like it is funny how you say like the community is different, just because different hobbies or even different like subsections of hobbies have like their own sort of cultures and things of that nature? Like, what is it particularly about jiu-jitsu, or at least the particular jiu-jitsu culture that you're familiar with? Like, what is it that you find unique, or what is it that you truly like value most about it?
We don't waste time with bullshit. Like, even in like my class, I try and like start people up with like a warm up that's relevant, but I don't want people to like, lapse around the mat because that's nothing to do with arm locks. I don't want to like make people do jumping jacks because that's not really gonna help you choke somebody out. But if you come to a jiu-jitsu class, you're usually gonna be in an environment that's safe, that you can have a little bit of fun, like putting somebody to sleep or practicing to do so. And usually, if you're doing something safely and fun, you will probably learn something. It's kind of simple, but over time, rinse and repeat. All the complexity is really hard. It's really fun.
That's dope, man. And it's like everyone has like the idea of like what a black belt is, and martial arts has kind of been like a mythology behind it, particularly like in the US. It's like they think if you're a black belt, that you're like, you know, fucking like you got to get registered downtown and shit like that. Like super like
My
fucking
13-year-old niece is a black belt.
Yo, Donnie Yen over here fucking, you know, breaking necks and shit, Steven Seagal ass fucking, you know. But what's interesting, particularly about, I would say, jiu-jitsu black belts, is that for the most part, there's a certain like quality control that it goes through. I'm curious, like, what would you say it takes for?
Edwin's a blue belt. Don't sleep on Edwin. Edwin will fuck you up.
Yeah, right.
Edwin's a fucking monster, son. I didn't realize how fucking strong.
I'm really not.
Until we started grappling. Yeah. He's also super modest, yo. He's like a fucking rock, man. Like just everything, and it's just like
it's a different strength, right, Jose?
Yeah, he's just fucking like skinny ripped. I don't know how to fucking describe. He's just fucking.
You don't be calling skinny people skinny, B. That's like saying fat people are fat.
That's exactly how it works.
But fat people are fat, though.
Yeah, you're right.
That's how it works.
But
you can't call women scrappy or like feisty. That's rude.
But I agree. It's like 2020 rude, but it's like
do it, but it is rude.
But yeah, it's like 2020 rude. I think it's just all context. Like you could say anything, but it's just the context. It's like, you know, if you're saying it from a good place, like, yo, my man, you're fat. Like, you know, it's not. I don't think that's rude, but it's like if you're saying, hey, you're fat as fuck, to make fun of him.
Fat shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And, oh man, you just got us canceled. Nah, so no, but it is funny. Like martial arts does give you like a certain sort of like, I wouldn't even call it strength, but it just gives you a certain sort of kinesthetic awareness. It like gives you a certain sort of dominion over your body. So it's like it seems like you're really strong, but like if you could break down what someone's doing, you're like, oh, I just need to do X, Y, and Z, and I'll get a similar result.
You are.
Yeah, strength is a skill, man. Like I don't.
Yeah, strength is a skill too.
Period.
If you're strong as fuck, usually you have to maintain that. Like some people are born stronger than others, but it's like really strong people like work at being strong, which is, you know, I don't want to digress too much, but people get, particularly in jiu-jitsu, get really miffed when people like, oh yeah, you're using too much strength. I'm like, bro, that's an attribute. It's like if you're doing the technique correctly, like if you're just a strong ass dude, like that's how it's going to manifest.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you got to do what going back to my question, like about your about you going all the way to black belt. It's a pretty big deal. It takes a number of years. How would you describe that journey, or what motivated you to go that far?
I mean, my black belt's on my wall, dude. Like, I got burners and shit for like teaching class, but
Okay,
you have
okay.
you have to kill me to come get the black belt my teacher gave me and shit. But part of it is like having a routine, which I wasn't really too into before jiu-jitsu. That goes with like when you're doing jiu-jitsu and when you're not.
Yeah.
And part of like wanting to do it was to like commit to something. Like I've never had tattoos before jiu-jitsu either. But I got tattoos on my ribs to like demonstrate commitment to myself.
Dope.
Yeah, man. Like I sold my PS3 when I was like a blue belt. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a black belt. I don't need to play video games as much anymore. You gotta make a decision and you gotta work back to see where it's gonna go from that decision. So I think part of learning that in jiu-jitsu and then applying it to like succeeding in jiu-jitsu is what makes it so much fun. And really like after a certain time, you're just kind of doing jiu-jitsu so you can beat other jiu-jitsu people. Like everyone's a blue belt, everyone will fuck Jose up no problem, like and laugh about it.
Easy.
know what I'm saying?
He does easy, son. It's like I thought
I'm
at
like,
least
yeah.
me being like big, I would have some type of advantage, and like it doesn't matter with Edwin.
At a certain point in jiu-jitsu, all you're doing beyond like you as like someone who's progressing in jiu-jitsu and like for context, Jose who doesn't do jiu-jitsu is just to pull the boat as further away from you as possible. Like I could like put Jose to sleep and he wouldn't know what happened like real quick.
Oh, talking shit. We gotta set this up. So here's what I've been doing, right? Me and Jose have been training, and I've been teaching him how to grapple, and like no funny shit, like no funny shit, like for real. Like, he's really good at like he's picking up things very quickly because I wouldn't say I'm a good teacher, but I think Jose is really good picking up concepts. So I'll lay out basic concepts like the idea of like, you know, negating space when you're attacking and creating space when you're defending, just like basic shit like that. And he's really good at applying that in multiple situations. And I mean, that's just kind of the key to like any martial art or pretty much any like athletic endeavor. It's just like sticking to concepts and applying them in multiple situations. And I think some people are really good at intuitively doing that. And there are other people that are really bad at it because there's perfect examples, especially at my gym in particular, like Steve, he like one of the best coaches like in anything I've ever seen.
Legend.
And he's really like he's but there's even some guys that like he's taking guys that have basically been run out of other gyms just because they're so like not good at it and he's made them competent, you know? And there's just
easy.
some people. It is. I mean, it isn't. It isn't. But there's just some people who have a hard time of being aware of themselves in space. And
some
Jose
people don't
is
want
very.
to be.
Yeah, that's
Everybody
true.
can do jiu-jitsu,
That is true.
but it's just not for everybody, for sure.
No, it is. It is true. It is true. But I think Jose is, you know, just naturally he grabs onto it. You know, I could already tell he's getting real good. So, yeah, man.
I bet Jose will fuck up a head and arm choke heavy, yo.
Funny enough, that's the first position. It's funny because I told him that, and I was showing him the head and arm choke.
Tell me he told you that.
He gets in different positions that the head and arm choke will be good. And the first position that I really showed him was Keisugatami, scarf hold. Like that was the first position just because I started off like self-defense stuff, like getting out of headlocks, you know, taking down from the headlock, like, you know, just someone grabs your wrist, what to do, shit like that. And then we built to like getting like a headlock on the ground, which is like Keisugatami. So it's like he's, you know, he's let's just say he's a very dense person, and dense people are very good at that position. So it's like if he could if he could master that shit, and he's already really good at it. Like he's already has just like an intuitive, like negating space, keeping your head low, like keeping your head off the ground. Like he just gets it. So yeah, I think that'll be his shit. Like, you know, just need a little bit more practice.
We gotta put you on breadcrumb, yo. Hell yeah.
I'm coming for you, Sandy. Yo, I'm in the hyperbolic time chamber right now with Ed Boy. And when I come back out, son, I'm challenging all Cell Juniors, bro. And then I'm coming for you, Cell.
Yeah, come for the culo, B.
That's funny. So I know you're into jiu-jitsu, but you did other martial arts as well. Have you considered pursuing any other martial art, maybe even another like grappling sport, or maybe getting back into striking? Has that ever tickled your fancy, or are you just like, this is my sphere, this is my niche, this is where I'm good at?
I think even the latter on that is maybe like short-sighted. You know, like we talk about sambo techniques that win. I try and like plug in the stuff that helps. And I don't think this like is exclusive to jiu-jitsu. Like if you're trying to get good at golfing, you could probably pick something up from hockey that's gonna help your swing. I'm just making that up. But I don't know, maybe.
No, but the mechanics are the same. It makes sense.
Straight up.
I saw the Adam Sandler movie.
Why not? Like if y'all have ever watched like a Lomachenko fight, I was like purple belt when that dude started coming to prominence. And I was like, man, this motherfucker moves. Why is he moving like that? And like, why doesn't anyone else move like that? How do I put that into my jiu-jitsu? And I think like that kind of shit is really beneficial. And like keeping an open mind in that way, it doesn't make me like just the jiu-jitsu guy. It truly makes me like Sandy.
Yeah, that's what's up. It's funny. You know how Lomachenko got those footwork skills?
Dance, B.
Crazy, man. His
Straight
dad
up
wouldn't
dancing.
even let him. He went years of Ukrainian traditional dancing before he would even lace up gloves, and that's how he has his crazy footwork. That's like the perfect example of that shit. For sure. And that is true because
watching that, B.
yeah, man. I think everything is kind of like applicable in that sense because like I've been at it for years. Like I took like basically almost a decade, you know, hiatus from like grappling. And when I got back, I ended up at Sambo Steve's gym, and his ethos is like your ethos, and that's why I click. Is that, you know, it's a Sambo. We compete in everything. You know, we have guys who compete in MMA, who compete in judo, who compete in Shuai Jiao, who compete in Sambo. You know, Sanda. So we'll compete under any rule set.
That shit is fire.
You said what?
I seen the Reaper's rash guard. That shit is fire.
Oh yeah, it is dope. It is dope. But yeah, man, I like that idea because, you know, I haven't formally trained jiu-jitsu. Like I compete at a higher level than technically where I'm at. So, you know, it's all the same techniques. It's all the same shit. It's just like you just have to mold it rule set. The only thing that will change is like maybe one technique isn't optimal for this rule set just because of, you know, the conditions that you're in. But it's all the same body mechanics. It's all the same techniques. It's just, you know, appropriate, what's applicable, you know, things of that nature. So
have you read the rules?
Have I read the rules?
You know what I'm saying? Like you can use all of the stuff from like a Sambo class in like a jiu-jitsu competition. It's just different rules, maybe. Like just how if you apply to this job versus that job, you should probably read the job description.
Oh yeah, that's huge. That's huge. I think and I think that applies if you just take that and then apply it to like the moves that'll be effective under whatever code. I think that makes sense. It's like certain throws that I would be doing Sambo, I might not do in jiu-jitsu, or I might not even be allowed to due to gripping restrictions in like judo or whatever, and vice versa. Like certain techniques I would do in jiu-jitsu probably wouldn't work in under other rule sets, but it's all the same shit. It's just like how you apply it, So that's why I always, at least me personally, I think it's good to, if you're a grappler and if you want to pick up different things and test your skills, it's good to like try other sports, just to get your feet wet, just to gain different perspective. So I like your ethos of like absorbing everything, but it's not even applicable in martial arts. It's applicable to life,
life for succeeding.
I think. Yeah, man. I think the way I gather it, it's like you were even talking about how you sold your PS3 and you made a decision to just pursue jiu-jitsu, and it's like you were able to apply learn from jiu-jitsu, like the idea of commitment. Like you learn that from jiu-jitsu, but you could apply it to everything in your life. And I think that's one of the main benefits of like getting into anything, but particularly martial arts. I'm rambling a little bit, but
no, I'm listening.
This shit is deep.
This shit is deep, and like, there's not enough things out like that. Like I seen the Nexium documentary. That shit bugged me out. They got like sashes. They going on the judo belts. It's like a good cause until like you find out that the guy at the head is banging all the chicks. But like, there's nothing wrong with like
the guy at the top is always banging all the chicks.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck you, guy. I don't think there's anything wrong with like a structure of like this person knows something and you're here to learn. That doesn't mean that person knows everything, but maybe like the other person sitting next to you knows something that the other person wasn't even gonna mention. Maybe that's a little different now in our post-COVID world, but that's another thing. Y'all ain't been back to the office, so like water cooler talk and like lack thereof gravely concerns me. But I think stuff like jiu-jitsu keep that shit going. You gotta like be in your community, know from the people around you, not just yourself. You get really caught up, like I'm that nigga.
Yeah, man.
Do you want to like open up a gym eventually? Like, do you have a like Sandy Dojo, whatever, and you get a
Sandy's
Dika.
Dominican Kung Fu.
Yo, Dika Jiu-Jitsu. Yo, perfect. Dika Jiu-Jitsu.
Dika Jiu-Jitsu. Yo, bro. You gotta edit this out because someone's gonna take that shit.
Yeah. This is gonna be just you're gonna see the screen go during that fucking part.
Some random Dominican.
I want my
own
spot himself a red belt.
There we go. That's what I like to fucking hear, son. Hear. Be your own fucking boss.
Well, yeah, man, and I think like I had a lot of time with this whole like quarantine thing. Like both of the things that I do for income became illegal, so I kind of had to take it upon myself to like see where I'm at. My homie interviewed me for a Washington Post snippet, and I got quoted saying everybody's thinking about where they're gonna be at 5 years from now, and I might have my own spot. Like I don't know how big it's gonna be, or if it's as big as I want it to be at first, or whatever it might be. I'm gonna have my own bar. I'm not gonna hire people. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna teach my classes. I'm gonna go close my bar, go to bed with my shorty, wake up and have breakfast, and do it again. It doesn't have to be complicated. I think I'm like already setting myself in motion to like be a great teacher. It's just a matter of like being a great example, I think now. I ran into Edwin like during a competition last year. When the fuck was that?
Yeah, it was December 2019. It was the mission only.
Yeah. Damn, last year, B.
Yeah, man. Almost a year ago.
You seen that picture over there? That champ picture?
Bro, champ.
Champ pick, yo.
Champ.
Edwin makes them do humble,
Yes.
heavy. Tell him how you beat this cat, B.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I just I toe hold.
God.
I caught him in a toe hold. So I'm trying to think what happened because so by the way, Sambo Steve, my coach, he has a Vimeo stream that he first started when the lockdown happened, and he does like breakdowns from old fights, old tournaments, and he actually broke down in particular, which was really surprising.
Broke down your
But,
soul?
Yeah, he broke down the
Yeah.
match. It was only like a 30-second match, but basically
Damn!
Yes.
I'm surprised.
Come with
30
the soul,
seconds,
baby.
yo. They call him the fucking
yeah.
the Flash, bro.
Not well. Here's the thing. We locked up.
Humble. Edwin. Go ahead.
I felt like I don't know. I felt like he was gonna pull a guard or something. So I got like a head and arm headlock, and I did a snap down, and
Nice.
then I tried to pass, but he caught me in half guard. So most times when you play half guard, like you play it tight, you smash and things like that. But one thing Steve told me is playing half guard off. So a lot of times what I'll do is that I'll try to work for the knee slide, and this is all like jargon for laymen, but I'll try to do a knee slide, or so it's like a gambit. It's like passing the guard opens up leg locks, and leg locks opens up passing up the guard. So I
completely
threaten to pass, and then he leans up. So he's just me because I don't have it, and I just take the toe hold because it's like right there. And I actually missed the first time I grabbed it, but he was so like unaware of what was going on.
Bro, you
They
know
let
the
me
rules.
take it.
Straight up, motherfuckers be bugging like, "Oh, I didn't know you could full lock me." Like,
Yeah, nah, bro. Like, bro, it's purple belt. Come on, son.
straight up,
Like, you should know
get your
that.
shit together.
Yo, Sandy, I'm curious actually about how you got into the drink making game. Like, what led you to that?
So I don't know what it's like now. When you're not in my class, my night class is nuts because I say wild shit. But when I was going to night classes for jiu-jitsu, you get like motherfuckers that came out of work that really had a shit day and want to like fuck people up. There's nothing wrong with that. But I realized that like noon classes were popping, like noon and morning. And besides, like the vibe was like more chill. It's kind of like unemployed surfers or like tech startup high seed money people that didn't have like normal jobs. I figured like I could train and then maybe train again later. But if I had like a bar or a restaurant gig, I could like train in the morning and work at night. And I didn't really think I liked it that much. But when you start making like this drink and then that drink, you find out like this drink is kind of like that drink. And there's only a couple really, but almost infinite permutation. And it's kind of like food. And you could take like stuff that you might learn in a kitchen and use it to make a drink really good. It became its own jiu-jitsu thing for me, at least. Like, I take pride that like I could bang out some drinks real fucking quick that tastes really fucking good for you. I don't know that a lot of people in bartending think like that. I hope they do. But I think like plugging my passion for jiu-jitsu into my passion for bars has helped.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've had some of your drinks. Your drinks are fucking legit. Actually, I watched this man enter a bartending competition. My man is out here fucking pioneering sports, bro. Like,
Did you come to rematch? Did I make that up?
I don't know. It was at some hotel. I don't know. I don't remember the event. It was years ago, but it was you speed
Been a while.
bartending. Like, my man was holding like fucking 4 bottles at once.
Oh
like,
yeah,
making
yeah,
drinks.
yeah.
And I was
That's
like,
rematch.
what the fuck is going on?
That shit was fire, yo. I hope we do that again. Jose, so it's 10 drinks and all the best bartenders in the city coming through. You put down your cash, a hundo. That means you got a rep. and everyone is on the timer. Everyone has the same ingredients, setup, whatever. And whoever makes the 10 drinks quicker wins the pot. I did not win. The lady that won beat me by like 20 seconds. She was nasty.
Damn.
But it's tough.
She was on performance enhancing drugs, though. USADA
nasty.
outed her.
But again, like I lifted her shit to put her in my act. Like I was like, oh, that's how you made that pina colada. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The thing I'll say is that like I'm not even surprised by like how hard or how good you are at the things you're good at. Cause like ever since we were little kids, bro, like anything you did, it wasn't. There's no like 90%, bro. It's like it's 0 or like 150, son. So it's just like. Not surprised, brother.
You know the vibes? That's us, B. That's the squad. Like, we don't fuck around with some cornballs.
Facts, bro. Facts.
Why waste the time?
Yeah, man, for sure.
But getting back to the
Damn,
competition, jam, I'm trying to do 80cc next year. That's why I brought that shit up, B.
Word, man. That'll be dope. Like, yeah, man.
They
Fuck it, why
postponed
not?
trials for this year because of the global pandemic. For like lamas, for like Jose and whatnot, like basically there's jiu-jitsu competitions and there's like submission only, lend itself to like endless training. There's like wrestling. In America, we're fortunate to be like have pockets of like folk style and freestyle wrestling heritage. Like you'll get like 2 and 3 brothers in the family that travel with their parents from this town to that town and wrestle every week. I didn't do that because I was raised in New York. But I started jiu-jitsu in my 20s and I loved it. You can only get like so far so quick, but we're coming on to a decade, so I think I kind of have my bearings in all like the realms of grappling, if you want to call it. But 80cc is like the grappling's not in the Olympics besides like judo and Greco-Roman freestyle, but no like submission sports are in the Olympics. 80cc would probably be like the submission sport of the Olympics. Like the weight category winners get like 40K. The absolute winner gets 40K, and the super fight winner gets 40K. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and that's dope because I think that's the difference between jiu-jitsu and other grappling sports. He gives them like now it's a little different because you have like different different formats and competitions popping up where they could like make money, like EBI stuff like that. But ADC I think was the first where like guys that were jiu-jitsu submission oriented could really get, because every other sport has that path. Like you have freestyle wrestling, Olympics, you have Greco-Olympics, you have judo, Olympics and world champ. Like they all have paths. Like even sambo, at least in the Eastern Bloc, they're pretty big out there, and jiu-jitsu was growing. There were competitions, but unless you went into MMA, there really wasn't like that sort of like prestige you could take. And I think ADCC was like the really the first to do it. Like you have the IBJJF, but like I still think like ADCC is still like the pinnacle.
Like the top 2% gets paid.
Yeah, they're like the pinnacle. So yeah, man, I think that's dope. Like, how would you train for that? Like, where? Because you would definitely have to like immerse yourself in like pretty much create a training camp. Like, how would you swing that? Would you go back to Clockwork and just work it out there? Because I know that's a dope gym. That's where you got your black belt, right?
That's where I got my black belt. I'm working with my teacher on it and like my other support. I'm like lucky that I can train with like black belts that are bigger than me. So it's not likely that I'm like the most skilled person in the room all the time. And I always have that challenge. And for ADCC, what makes it unique is the rules In like most grappling competition with submissions, you don't get penalized for pulling guard, like sitting in a defensive position. In ADCC, they really encourage the wrestling. You have to take someone down with control, which is really fucking hard. If you like accept defensive positions, you get penalized. Like if I just sit down in front of somebody, I get -1 point. It's bugged out, was it? And like if there's no score after regulation, there's overtime, and if there's still no score after that, there's another overtime. So you're looking at like a 40-minute engagement possibility. So you gotta be like,
Damn.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you gotta like be on your shit. Like this motherfucker is not taking me down. I'm getting to their back. This shit is going down.
Yeah, man. I think that's what kind of separates it, because usually what jiu-jitsu is kind of, you know, matches outside of like submission only formats are like what 5 minutes or whatever, and most grappling sports are usually like I think, you know, freestyle, they have rounds like 2-minute rounds, things like that, you know, and it's just very, because I think what separates like submission folks in jiu-jitsu is just that it's just that the focus changes the sport, which is really in. So it changes what's viable, like what you focus on. And I don't know. I always thought that, you know, that's really interesting. But you should go, man. I think you could do damage, because it's like in the ADCC, right? Like you'll have some serious competitors, and you'll have competitors that are like shoe-ins, and then you'll have some, you know, you have the riffraff who just think. Who just think we're like, oh yeah, I can do this, yeah, sure. But like then you have guys like Sandy who like are black belts, really know their shit, and could like make some. Man, that's hype, bro. I wanna be a part of your training camp. I'll just come through, see what's up, and then when you win gold, I'll take some of the credit. I'm like, yo, bro.
I hope you do.
I told him how to pass guard, bro. That was all me, son.
I hope you do. I couldn't pass your guard the other day.
Bro, I mean, yeah, but
It's not that hard. I'll teach you.
What happened there?
Yo, Jose, I think Jose would be a beast. Like, you should take Jose under your wing. That's I think.
I hope he trains more. Yeah, I'm with it.
He needs to become. He's DK #1, but he needs to become DK.
Like
he
in
needs
his
to
final
realize his true potential.
I'm with that. Those
but his wife. Yeah, but his Wi-Fi's fucking up, so it's like, well, his Wi-Fi's my Wi-Fi, but
I'm listening. I turned off the camera. I don't know, man. Just our internet's been acting up the last few weeks. Man.
Yeah.
Whatever. No big.
I think that's everyone, because like mad people's internet has been fucked up. The increased load, people being home and shit. You know, some neighborhoods being hooked up.
That Pinot Netflix throttling, B.
Mm.
You know the deal. You know the vibes. Yo, they know.
Yeah, they throttle like crazy.
Heavy.
Yeah, man.
What's got
next?
mats at your crib, yo? When can I come through?
Yo, we do. We do have a couple of mats. It's nothing crazy, but we have once we clear out more space in the basement, we'll add some more mats. But right now we have 2. It's enough for like 2-3 people to do their thing a little bit. We're restricted on space, so like the things that we do are mostly groundwork for the most part, just because it's like a lot, restriction on space.
But how beautiful is it, like the inspiration that's giving you in like what you can communicate, right? Like you can't be like, all right, we're gonna do blast doubles, Jose, because you don't fucking have space for blast doubles. But if you're
I don't even know what that is.
Exactly. But like we got like space for like 12 to 15 where I teach. So when we do like Friday night class, I've been doing like footlocks just so that people are like
Mhm.
on the floor and not taking up too much space. You already know.
Yeah.
You come through for that 50-50 action.
Oh, you see, that's actually something that I'm not really like versed in. Just because, so the way I learn leg locks primarily from the gym, it's almost like you want to avoid that shit. Like you don't want to be you want to be in a position where like there's not a 50-50.
I completely
So I need to, but end up in that position. So that's something to work on. I mean, there are a lot of things that I need to work on in grappling in general. So much. It's like you have a certain skill set. Better you get, the more you realize that like, oh shit, I have holes in everything. What the fuck, man? Like it's like a never-ending journey. And it's kind of, no, my bad. What'd you say?
I said, ain't it beautiful? But I started hearing you, but then I cut off. Sorry.
Oh no, my bad. No, I just said that's kind of like the appeal. That's
Big time.
So I'm interested in opening up on staying in New York. Like when you said you have plans on opening up like a school and also a bar. Do you plan on staying in New York, or is that up in the air, or is that anything you've thought of?
I don't want to make any rash decisions, but I don't think that that's viable in New York City to like get to black 5 to 8 years from now. Both of those like industries, like hospitality and like lifestyle martial arts, you can't really expect a return ASAP. Like it's a real like, investment type of thing. So I think like being upstate is probably better in our interest. My shorty's from Prattsville, so we're actively looking for a spot between like here and there, and looking for like a car that can service the road. I could still like get back to the city. I want to be able to like drive and shit like that, but I don't got to take the train anymore. I'm a black belt at taking the train, B. Even like to get
makes sense,
to Brooklyn, I'm
taking the trains after COVID, bro. I haven't taken the train once since we started in the pandemic. But I'm like at that age where I don't know. I guess maybe after this is over, I might end up leaving the city too, or whatnot. I'm not 100% like. I'm like, bro. I've graduated in life. I need to stop taking trains.
100%, dude. You're better than that. I hope you still make it out. I hope you don't become a hermit.
Oh,
Well, the pandemic won't last forever.
I mean, maybe, right? Like it's only gonna last until you decide it's over, B. Like one day.
That's not how science works.
Pardon?
That's not how science.
What's scientific about a pandemic? Some motherfucker told you to stay home. That's not scientific.
Not catching it, right, and not spreading. Sure, that's science.
I mean, kinda, maybe, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not a scientist. You're not a scientist, B. I don't think we got.
I'm a scientist / engineer, so yeah, I kind of
scientist, fucking DK the science.
DK scientist, B. That DS.
DK
that Nintendo DS.
I am a master of applied mathematics and science, but.
What's the square root of this apartment?
Oh, got him.
What's the
got
what?
him?
What's the square root of this apartment?
Next time someone says that, what's the square root of these nuts? That's what I'm saying to scientists.
These nuts squared.
No.
That's funny, man. So yeah. That opening a gym and having a bar, bro, that's the dream. It's like more and more I'm thinking about living a life according to your terms. Like even if things work out, just learning things and just having I guess, compound interest of knowledge and things going. I think your idea for the future is, I think a lot of people are afraid to commit to things like that or commit to ideas like that. Oh yeah, because like people think like, oh yeah, I want to do what I want. I want my own store. I want to do this. I want to do that. But like, actually put it into motion. And I think the fact that you're a black belt already and you're already thinking about these things, you've already put it into motion. So I think that's pretty uncommon. Even with people at Allen, we're supposedly supposed to be, you know, the movers and free thinkers, but I think a lot of people, myself included to a degree, really like the security of sort of the everyday, and you know, don't necessarily strive. Yeah, Jose figured out the square root of your room and fell off the recording.
Yeah.
That's why I could not compute. Could not compute.
Basically, without, you know, no, what are you saying?
I got that debug error.
You created that script in order to scheme Microsoft in order to fucking
Stay
get
scheming.
those points and get those fucking CDs, the Windows CDs.
Yo,
I'll
how
never
about
forget
that? That
story,
shit was
son.
hilarious. All right,
Son,
let's
that's
end
one
on
of
that
my
story.
favorite. That's one of my favorite stories, bro. Please, Sandy, please tell
So I
us.
could hardly pick up a computer these days, but back in like college when I was like still scheming heavy like that, you'd be on like black hat script websites and shit. If you've never done any like computer science class or computer programming or whatever, that doesn't mean much to you. But basically I found a script that automated into like Microsoft's premier search engine at the time. This is when like Bing just came out. So they had like word association games to like get you to use Bing. Like, oh, you'll play like this crossword puzzle and like use the search engine. And the idea is that you use it a lot and you get points and you can get like a reward mailed to you. When dickheads like me get a script to automate that kind of shit, I got like 8 copies of Windows Vista delivered to my crib. And I just took them to Best Buy like, my grandma thought we had a bunch of computers, so she bought too many of them. And the person's like, well, all we can do is give you store credit. And I'm like, well, fuck, I'll take your store credit, goddammit. And bought a cell phone, dumbass video games, pissed my shorty off. It was a good ass time.
That was one of the greatest games of all time.
But you could use that same, like I could use that same power for evil for good now. You know what I'm saying? That's what you can get from that kind of shit.
Facts.
Well, we'll talk about what he's really gonna do off camera. We're gonna talk about the real shit.
The scheming.
Facts. But yo, Sandy, thank you for coming on. Thank you for
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute
just
pleasure.
showing us love, and you know, just keep doing your stuff. So when you get rich and famous, people will start looking for this, and then we could just freeload off your success from this end.